Hey, so glad you can join us for today's episode. This is Taylor Foad. This guy has such an interesting story. He is from California, saw the light and moved to Idaho. You majored in music, right?
Yeah.
And minored in Bible theology. There we go. You've got some foster kids, some kids of your own.
Yeah.
And then you also did a little bit of computer programming in your past.
Yeah.
Web design, development, and you work for Resto Clean. Did I hit all the major things?
Just about. Really what it is I just have mad ADD. I just got to keep kind of running. So I tend to pick up all sorts of kind of weird side gigs and anything that I can kind of do to stay busy. But that is a snippet. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So which version of the Bible is your favorite?
That's a tough one. I really like NASB. NASB is, oh boy, to put me on the spot. There's sort of like a spectrum of Bible translations that go from paraphrase all the way down to like almost nearly word for word. Once you start trying to translate Greek and Aramaic and Hebrew and all that, it gets a little messy, but nearly word for word. NASB is sort of on the left to where it's nearly word for word versus the paraphrase, which can get a little messy, or at least a little push the way things were said or try to communicate. And so, yeah, man, I can't believe I can't think of NASB on the spot. NASB is a really great one. NLT is another one. New Living Translation is another great one. It's a pretty easy read.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what's your favorite instrument?
Favorite instrument? I'm probably most creative on drums, I would say. I've played drums for a while. I played violin for...
So did you ever play in a band?
Of course. I think every drummer hit some pots and pans with a few other guys at one point. And so drums, I've been a guitar teacher for a really long time. Bass is always a cool instrument. I was a classically trained singer in college, so I had to sing opera music and Italian, French, and German. Yeah.
Wow. So do you speak those languages or sing?
Absolutely not. No, I had, it's so random. I had tried to learn Italian because actually a lady here in Idaho gave me a hard time when she found out that I was Italian. And she's, oh, you don't speak your mother tongue and all this stuff. And so I took, I think it was 5 or 6 straight months on Duolingo and went and spoke to her. And she's like, I don't know what you're saying. And I'm like, you wasted my time, lady. Like, I tried to learn it for you. And so that one hurt. That hurt pretty bad. So I lost it all. My wife brought up and she goes, how many Italians have you met out here in Idaho? I'm like, her. And she's like, how many, like, Spanish speakers? I'm like, many more. And she's like, maybe you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, so made it hard.
So how did you get into the whole world of programming?
I have always kind of been a techie guy. In high school, I joined a ROP web development course where we learned HTML, and me and a buddy of mine, we were absolutely not interested in learning how to build websites since we already kind of knew how to poke around. So we would instead create viruses and send them to each other. Knowingly. And so we both kind of shook hands that like, hey, these are on school computers. We're not going to just nuke them.
Right.
We're
not
just
too terrible, right?
No, we'll just do kind of annoying things. And so, yeah, like try to change the startup sound to a fart, or like one of them, as I mentioned, he changed all of the images on the entire internet to David Hasselhoff. I could not even Google's front page, the letters Google. That's not actual text at the time anyway. It was just an image. And it was actually David Hasselhoff for me. It was just his eyes like this. And I'm like, get me off of this website. So, yeah, it's crazy.
So that was your beginning in the world of web then?
I would say so, yeah. And like I said, I've always kind of been a techie guy. But that was... seeing just computer language, if then, was really interesting to me, really fascinating to me. And so kind of the more, the further we go now with the use of artificial intelligence and everything else, all the coding languages, I mean, you still got to know what you're looking at and doing, but to just tell a large language model, I want to build this. And it goes and just kind of spits it all out done. That had taken me hours to try to figure out like, oh, this function goes to this and this, and, and so now it's got it down. It makes it easier anyway.
So which is your favorite with AI?
AI, oh man, right now I'm stuck between GPT and Gemini. I've tried kind of all the other big names. Google is a bottomless pit. when it comes to money. And so they can throw quite a bit at Gemini, and Gemini is fantastic. It's really, it's a really smart large language model. But then GPT being kind of the OG, coming out, and I believe developed in 2018, December 1st, 2022 is when I first saw it posted. And I think I actually saw it from Sam.
Oh, wow.
From like the main guy who like posted and said, talk to our AI model. And so I started messing with it pretty much day one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I've since used it like 100 times a day since, which is mentally like half my brain works. So it's crazy. Yeah.
So what are your predictions with AI? Where do you think it's going to go for people?
That's tough. So pre-GPT-5, the newest release of GPT, they were really hyping it up. Like I saw all the O4 model was their kind of flagship, O3 and all these other different models that OpenAI had come out with. And it's been a tough one because they really hyped up GPT-5 to like destroy the market.
Yeah.
And to just be the most brilliant genius thing that's ever come out. And so I remember seeing the update come out and I was thinking like, okay, Taylor, like the world is different. And then I get on there and I'm like, how many R's are in strawberry? And it's like, there are 4. I'm like, no. Actually, there's not. We're not there yet. Okay, so that's a solid test. If you're ever talking to a large language model, ask them how many letters are in a word, like how many O's are in the word pool. And it'll be like, there are 6. You're like, where? Where? And so
that explains why when it does the image generation, it can never get the word spelling right.
Yeah, and GPT came out and they tried to fix that quite a bit. I remember they had they made a post online that said, we can now do words. And it pretty much said, it was a robot holding a sign that said, I can spell. And it was actually spelled correctly. But then,
it took them 6 months of trial.
Oh, gosh, too many. Yeah. And then, they post another picture of somebody waving their hand and they have 8.5 fingers. So, fingers and letters have seemed to be just the downfall of things for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me with the image generation, so it trains on all the images that are on the internet, right?
Yeah.
That's its knowledge base.
Right.
How many images have you ever seen with someone with 8 fingers, right? Like,
I mean, just minimal. Minimal. Yeah, no, not many. Not many. There's got to be some sort of, even an AI really boils down to the if-then
right
kind of idea. And it's artificial intelligence, to people who don't really know too much about it, is truly just the control find option on any web browser. Like you start, what's the diameter of the sun? It's going to go and find the time that it had read the diameter of the sun. So it's not actually thinking, well, if you calculate it's not that. It's just like, well, I read this and that's what I read this 6 million times and this seems to be the consensus. This is what the answer is. And so for image generation as well, like, yeah, and there's actually artists that are coming out and saying like, hey, they're stealing my photos. I had seen somebody post on Reddit, they had taken a photo, they were in Alaska or somewhere snowy, and they had taken a photo of a polar bear, and then the night sky was right above it, and they had asked GPT to generate an image of a polar bear standing on snow with the night sky above it, and it seemed detail-wise to pull everything from that original image, and so. He went and froze in the wilderness to take this photo. And then GPT is like, thanks. And so, it's an interesting one. Training models is definitely weird because they got to get it from somewhere.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet I've cracked the code on that. While you were talking,
yeah,
they trained all the image generation on Picasso art.
Oh,
that's why it can't get it right with people.
Yeah, probably.
That's what it was.
That it has to be. Yeah, an ear like moved over here. Like, yeah, no, they. Yeah, definitely different things. And they have to teach it somehow. So
right.
And I'll keep using it as it shows up. I just recently saw that Sam Altman is releasing Gemini or GPT-6 sooner than GPT-5 took to release.
Wow.
And so it's just been this exponential curve.
That'll be interesting to see how it performs.
Yeah, maybe closer to 5 fingers on that one.
Yeah, let's hope.
Or a real spelling or the correct amount of letters in a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you think AI is actually going to take us in the next 10 years? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons. So we're already seeing a little bit of the customer service industry disappear.
Yeah.
Like chatbots are to pay somebody $16 an hour to sit there and answer messages that come across on a chat is quickly dwindling. And so that's somewhat finished. There's a lot of any hands-on jobs I can't imagine are going to be taken away. I'm in the restoration industry for Rest So Clean here in Idaho, and we sit there and scrape mold and do other gross things. There's no large language model that's going to do it for us.
Right.
And so our marketing department will probably get abolished, just because there's going to be some AI that'll do it. Not saying that we're going to right now. I'm just saying 10 years down the road, that'll probably be a thing. I can imagine our office admins probably gone. But any really hands-on, tough and dirty jobs, can't see AI taking over.
Not for a while.
No, but doctors, I mean, when you go to the doctor and say, hey, I have this, and this issue, they try to think, well, when I read about these, I got to remember what this really tied to.
Right.
GPT doesn't need to remember anything. It just knows everything. And so this shouldn't be done. But I will generally give it my symptoms, and it is dang near spot on, like way spot on. And just because I can sit there and talk to text and kind of word vomit what's going on, and then it just told me pretty much everything that's going on.
Oh, wow.
I didn't pay it a $60 copay.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so there's like different industries are going to be hit differently. Obviously, if you're
you didn't get the results of this could be a cold, a flu, or cancer.
Yeah, like WebMD, and that's my wife's a big. She will WebMD herself to death. Starts with a cough, and it's like I have every type of cancer. It's like, oh, what a horrible thing. And so GPT and Gemini are great because you can pretty much sit there and just word vomit into it.
Right.
I'm feeling sick. And the man cold for some reason is way worse than a woman cold. For us guys, especially dads, we get just hit the worst. I can sit there and just my right leg hurts and my foot fell asleep and I'm coughing and I feel like, and I can just kind of get it all out.
Right.
And then I've trained my model to push back to say, okay, your foot hurts, you're being a baby. But as far as what's going on with your lungs, like here's where and so mine will push back on me pretty heavily, which I recommend for anybody that kind of gets into large language models. So.
Yeah. So have you gone in and programmed the way you want it to work? And how did you do that?
Yeah. Within OpenAI, there's just settings that you can click on, like your profile, and then you really go into the settings, and there's options. Just how do you want it to talk to you? And so for me, personality-wise, I'm a very kind of short and sweet and to the point. Kind of, just give me a direct answer kind of thing. And so, which is funny because when I talk, I don't generally give direct answers. So, I don't know why that's like that, but yeah, it's generally I want them to just kind of no fluff, no bias, spit it out. And I use GPT heavily right now for word studies for Bible and theology. And so I got really tired of the, kind of dogma look at some of the Bible stories that everybody has kind of always known. And so because it's been trained on the raptures in Revelation, everybody says that. That's not a thing. That's not, like John Darby came up with that a bunch of years ago. And so, and then kind of put it in there. And then that's where this whole idea comes from. And so the way I kind of make AI talk to me is to almost ignore any post-biblical man-made thoughts or ideas and just get to the text. And so I'm getting down to like the words of the types of speech, like, well, this is a verb in this context because it's used here. And like, oh, it just gets so deep. And so it almost steps GPT up to another level when you do tell it, this is who I am, what I do, and how I want you to talk to me. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So tell us some more about your journey.
So political refugee from California, out here in Idaho. I know I'll get looks. Most of the people that hate me out here are actually other Californians. So I'm
That's
here.
hilarious.
I'm here like you for the same reasons. All right. The 3 Ps is what I came up with: people, prices, and politics. And so we just wanted to find somebody or a place that was a little bit more like-minded, and Idaho's a solid spot. But growing up, I grew up really rough. Both parents weren't making the best choices into some, extracurricular activities that were frowned upon by the police. And so it kind of scared me away from all that. And so I grew up in some apartments that were on Stafford Street in California. And there was this idea about this like Stafford curse, where once you were in the apartments, you'll never leave the apartments.
Oh.
And it's just this idea that you'll never make enough money to leave. If you do ever make money, you purchase street pharmaceuticals, and so like you're just stuck there, and you'll never really amount to anything ever. And
so that's the mindset of this whole community that you grew up in.
Yeah. So Section 8 housing, wow. and it's not great. And so I was like, well, I don't want to be in here forever, and so I did whatever I could. So I kind of became the first in my family on this trajectory to graduate high school on time and go to college and get a degree. My parents had never done that. I got married. My parents were never married. So I'm paving the way there. But then even more simple.
Where did that motivation come from? Because most people will listen to that influence of the community and just kind of follow that mold and follow that thought. So what made you escape?
Push through?
Yeah.
I'm somewhat lazy in the way that like I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that's there is like, I guess they're on their own wheel. Like they're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then I look over and I see these successful families, successful not financially, but successful like they all have jobs. Their kids are going to college and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they'll take like a family vacation and like they're doing. And I much more wanted that than this. And so I am a very results oriented, step by step, black and white kind of guy. And so I kind of just thought like, well, what's the first thing I got to do? Get a degree. Every job application out there says to get a degree. So I thought I might as well get a degree in something that I really like. So go to college. And so that was like, well, if I want to make a step, I got to do that first.
Sure.
And then you just kind of look at, well, what's the next step? Well, what's the next step? Well, what's the next step? And so, and then those are like big ones. Like college is like a big one, but like I was the first in my family to get a debit card and a credit card and get a line of credit and get a credit score. Like my parents, you can't buy drugs with a credit card. And so they were like not interested in that. So I ended up being the first to kind of pave the way through that. First to get a full-time 40-hour-a-week job, open a 401k, IRA, HSA, like all the things. And so there's a lot of kind of figuring it out as I go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's commendable to take and just say, you know what? I see the trajectory.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to accept it.
Right.
Not knowing what else there is or how to get it on a different path.
Right. And you don't really know what's behind the door until you open it. And so I thought like, and I guess the first thing I had to do was just finish high school on time, which was like, to most people like, well, yeah, you got to do that. But to me, it's like, there's a lot of people in the apartments who didn't, and like they got out and wanted to kind of pursue their own situation. And so, finish high school was like step number one.
Right.
And then I needed a car if I wanted to go to college. So I was working this little, job at a frozen yogurt place. And I was like, well, I got to make enough money to like make a monthly payment on a car.
Okay.
And so I bought a car, and so it was $158 a month for my little Scion TC. And to me, it was killing me. And I was doing everything I can to pay the bill. And now I'm like, I wish I had a $158 car. But like, it's just kind of step by step by step. If you want to do this, well, this is the first thing you got to do. If you want to do this, well, this is the next thing you got to do. And so, it was rough, but I definitely didn't want to. And so what's interesting now is I'll go back and visit these apartments, and it's in this sort of time warp. Nothing's changed.
Wow.
The same people are there doing the same hood rat things.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing changes. Nothing moves. I feel like the air is different within this bubble of an apartment. Nobody's really died. Nobody's been born. It's just the same thing. And that's this whole idea of like, once you're there, you kind of stay there. And so I couldn't handle it. I was like, there's got to be something else.
Yeah.
There's got to be something else. And that's why right now, I mean, I have a 9-to-5, 40-hour week job. Absolutely love it. Rest of Clean treats me really well. But like, there's got to be more.
Uh-huh.
And like, I'm too smart. I'm lazy, but I'm too smart. I just got to make it out. And like, I'm going to make it somehow. I just know it. I'm like destined for more. And so picking up website design and website development has been a really fun one for me because it kind of gets my creative side out and I'm financially compensated. And so it's like pushing me into this like, oh yeah, I just want to do more. I just want to do more and more and more. So it's been fun.
So hope to me seems like the missing piece for anyone in that apartment.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment from your perspective?
Yeah. Yes. I would say hope. And then there's also a level of like, you really got to die to yourself. Like it would be more comfortable to sit at home in those apartments and not do anything versus go to college and like grind to graduate.
Yeah.
And so like, you got to choose your hard. You're either going to choose your hard to live in these, and it's any apartments, not just these ones, but you're either going to choose your hard to live in these apartments and struggle, or you're going to choose your hard to sit in a classroom and struggle. But then at the end of it, like one obviously has a little bit of an upper hand. And so like I'm a firm believer in like no 0 days. So a 0 day is like you do absolutely nothing. And so like if you're sick and you're dying, like you have a 0 day.
Yeah.
But like a 0 day can quickly turn into a 1 day if you do a single push-up.
Yeah.
Because it is like it's not a huge thing, but it's like I did one step towards a goal.
Yeah.
And that could be one push-up. Drop your phone on the ground, go down and pick it up and do a push-up instead. That's now a 1 day and not a 0 day. And so not having any 0 days has kind of pushed me forward as well. And it's weird, like the 10,000 hour rule, to where if you put 10,000 hours into any thing, you'll become proficient at it or pro at it. No 0 days really pushes you. Like you start doing a push-up a day, you'll eventually do 5 push-ups that day, which is more than you did. And then if you do 5, then like it just everything kind of builds on top of each other. So there is no hope, but there's also people who are choosing to have 0 days that I just can't get behind. Like I know I'm destined for more, so I got to keep pushing.
I like that.
Yeah.
So are you ever going to write a book?
I have considered it, and I definitely have considered it. And with maybe the help of some of these large language models, just to get my ideas down, I think it could be done. As far as this podcast already going in every direction with the way I talk, I can imagine that people reading my books would be like, dude, what is this guy talking about? So I can imagine, yes, I have considered writing a book. I don't even know if anybody would read it.
You never know till you try.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. No 0 days, right?
That's right.
You know what? I might look into that after this. This will be, what's today, the 27th? This would be a good starting point to write something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The world needs to hear your experiences, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some, David Goggins, obviously, highly motivational. And there's all these kind of pillars of like motivation.
Yeah.
And they're all, Goggins is a Navy SEAL, or Jocko Willink. He's like another really solid, just strong guy in this like encouragement kind of community.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy. Like I'm just a citizen. I'm not a Navy SEAL. I didn't come from money, so I don't have anything to really support me there. It's more of just like, no, I'm just made for more. Like I know I'm made for more. I can't just be stuck here. So I think if I were to write a book, the reason why it would take off is because I'm not a celebrity.
Right.
I'm not, a Navy SEAL, any Green Beret or whatever. And so I'm just a guy, and I'll try to share what's worked for me and what hasn't worked for me. And if you don't want to reinvent the wheel, I guess that'd be a good book to read.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
so many people though, they struggle with that concept of motivation,
Yeah.
and that idea, like they'll get like, oh, I want to do this. And then they, like you said, they're just stuck on that wheel and they're playing that same routine every single day.
Yeah.
They never move that trajectory off the wheel
Yeah.
for living.
And I think so in my case, and this could honestly just be a chapter in the book, is like make an attainable goal.
Mhm.
Right? Like I want to be a Navy SEAL, and then a year goes by and you're not a Navy SEAL. I'm not a Navy SEAL. It's like, did you do anything to move towards it at all? Like, well, I was going on runs and then I stopped. Well, you stopped.
Yeah.
And so like there's very visual like steps and I guess moves that you can take. And you don't have to have this like crazy level of like, I'm going to do it. And that helps, but it's more of a consistency thing. And if you miss a day, it's not the end of the world, but more attainable wins, I think, is what truly helps. That really helps with it. Yeah.
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 So how did you get on this track to be a foster parent?
Well, so I have 2 girls of my own. My wife's been a stay-at-home mom for them since we had them. And she was like, there's this company, I don't even know if you want to call it that. It's called Foster and Heart here in Idaho. And so they take in sibling sets so a lot of the time in foster systems or the foster care system, there's one-off kids.
Sure.
And so Foster and Heart actually does sibling sets. So they'll take in, the 2 brothers or brother and sister, 3, 4, 5 kids that are in the same family, because splitting them up is just not helpful for really anybody.
Sure.
And so she got a very part-time job working there. And, she's working in this house with 11, 12, 13 kids. And there's these 3 kids that were in there that were really just pulling at her heart. And she connected with, and she had worked with them for the few, from the day one of working there all the way until 2 or 3 months in to working there. She's like, we gotta do something about, like, these kids are amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, like, let's try it. And so, it's okay to do hard things. And so we just jumped in, and
wow.
Yeah. And it's, we don't know too many foster parents that we could ask for advice. We had to go through a lot of training through the state of Idaho to be able to do it. But we just jumped in, and it's okay to do hard things. And it's almost easier to figure it out in the middle of it than try to pre-plan, because life doesn't go that way. Yeah. My wife's like the most type A person God has ever made, and so she almost regularly has to realize, like, life doesn't always go the way you plan. And so being in it, and again, just making attainable goals and step by steps is way easier than trying to be like, this 10,000 foot view of this is how these kids are going to be and act. We just don't know. And so they came in, they've been the sweetest kids ever. And I think we got really lucky, honestly. Because like there's stories of foster parents and foster kids and kind of the relationship that goes that way that aren't always super positive.
Sure.
And when we go through training, we're kind of told about these.
Right.
But we got pretty lucky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're pretty great kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. They're pretty awesome.
So what do you think God's role has been for you, and when did that journey begin?
Yeah, good question. So I was in Sacramento, where I'm from. There's this little church called Powerhouse Ministries. Shout out Powerhouse Ministries. And they had this kind of kids group, Sunday night kids, and they would feed. All of their services were always 5 p.m.
Okay.
5 p.m. to like 7:30. And so they never really did a Sunday morning thing. It was always an evening service. And for Powerhouse kids, they would feed them dinner. And my mom, since my sister and I lived with my mom, thought like, one less meal I need to worry about, go to church. And so we were kind of raised throughout Powerhouse, getting school supplies from them and going to Sunday kids to eat dinner and like hang out and make friends and stuff like that. And so I looked at church more of like a resource than a relationship with God. And then, I grew up kids, I went into youth group, and then I stopped going to youth group, and I just wanted to really go for the fun trips and activities they would go on. And so Josh Levine, shout out Josh, at the time he was like, hey, you're only coming for the youth trips. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I know.
Why does that?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, you got me. And so he's like, well, you got to come to 4 youth groups in a row before you go on the next trip. And I was like, oh, what? And so I started coming. I showed up a month before, and I started going, and I realized like, oh, I actually like really like this.
Mhm.
And then after the trip ended, he gave me a hug and was kind of like, I'd love to see you again, thinking that I was just going to bow out.
Mm.
And no, I showed up the next week and the next week and the next week, and I just kept showing up. And then when I was 15, my dad passed.
Oh, wow.
And that, as a 15-year-old boy, I mean, I had all sorts of emotions, but one of the people I was most angry at was God.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like, I just thought I was getting close to you. And then this happens. And in the moment, now I see what was going on. But in the moment, I was like, how messed up is that? And so I stopped going to Powerhouse. Josh reached out to me and was like, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. And I kind of just told him, I said, I'm kind of mad at God. Like my dad passed away. And so I don't have anybody to talk to. And like, why would I want to be in the same building as a God who took my dad? Was my thought at the time.
Yeah.
And Josh's dad has actually passed when he was 11. And so that was like, we connected like so well. And it's rough when you have a parent pass and you're young and somebody comes up and they're like, hey, I know what it's like. You know, my aunt's mom's sister's friend's dad's grandmother died, and that was hard for us. It's like, you don't even know. Like, this is my dad. Like, he's right there, you know, not like 7 removed. And so a lot of people would try to offer condolences and be like, yeah, you know, my 150-year-old grandfather died when I was 2, and that was hard for us. And it's like, you're not even on the same wavelength. And then Josh said, oh yeah, mine passed when I was 11. And I was like, you get it.
Yeah.
And again, for me, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So I was like, give me all how'd you get over it? What's all the tips and tricks? And unfortunately, if there's any younger people listening to this, if you've ever been told time will really heal all wounds, that's kind of true. Like it definitely helps, right? And so, so I really started connecting with Josh. And then at that point, I did this just deep dive into Powerhouse and sort of became the poster child for Powerhouse.
Oh, wow.
And so I was on a lot of marketing material, and I wanted to do it. Like, and it was great between kind of both parties, from Powerhouse and myself. Like, it was like, look where he came from, look what he's gone through, and look where he's going.
Yeah.
Because of Christ. And that was a very big deal. And so started really taking the Lord seriously, going up, growing out of youth group, and then eventually becoming a like the worshiping creative arts intern.
Oh, wow.
Working at the church at that point. And I was like so plugged in. Everything I did was around Powerhouse. And so so plugged in. And then I went to college and at William Jessup University, shout out them too. I got my music major and then my minor in Bible and theology. And then not too long after that, we decided to move to Idaho. That was kind of where COVID was just starting to kind of take off. And so, moved over here to Idaho. Still love the Powerhouse family out there. And now we're plugged into another church out here, and it's kind of just kept going, kept moving along. So no hiccups yet, which is great. Yeah.
So it really has been the rock that your life has been built around then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There are too many things too many doors have been opened for me that like I could not have opened myself. And so it's not God is not a genie to say like, God, let me pray this prayer and then you'll do this for me. It's truly not how it works. And so there are doors that he's going to open, that he's going to close, that you have to walk through. And one of the word studies and kind of things that I'm going through right now, and actually it's kind of it's almost ingrained on my forehead right now, is this like live by faith, not by sight kind of mentality. Because like, I just want to see God move. Well, yeah, but then you see it, and that's why you believe it. And that's not like true faith, because then you saw it. And so, and this is like the hardest part that nobody really honestly wants to talk about. And like, there's a lot of faith that kind of has to go into it. So yeah, absolutely. I think that I didn't notice the way God was moving until now looking back, right? Hindsight's 2020.
Sure.
But another quote that can kind of go along with that is when you know better, you do better. So if you know God's on your side, you can do better.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So I heard a quote recently, and they said that there's 3 levels of life, and I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. He said at the base level, everyone's a victim.
Okay.
Anyone living in the bottom tier, victim of society, they don't have control. And to me, that speaks to where you really came from, that whole mentality in that housing unit.
Yeah.
And then the next level is you're going to be the architect of your life.
Sure.
And you're like, I'm taking control.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. This is where I'm going. This is how it's going to be. And the third is a servant of divinity.
Sure.
And whatever divinity is for whoever it is. But when you move from I'm the architect to divinity's the architect, and I'm going to listen for where I'm supposed to go and how I'm supposed to act. Yeah. That totally transforms everything in life.
It does. And I think that third step 2 to 3 is the hardest one. Because like being a victim, having nothing, and then taking initiative to get something, that's all you. Like that's your, like how strong is your will to like really do that. And so that's very much your own flesh, your own time, your own tears, your own blood, your own sweat, like your own everything. That is fully you. That pass off on step 2 to step 3 is really what kills people. And I can't even sit here and say that I have it perfectly down. Like I struggle with it daily.
Yeah.
Again, because I'm just a guy.
And I think all of us move on all 3 tiers.
Oh yeah.
And to give credit where credit's due, I heard that from Joe Vitale.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Joe.
Yeah.
Super good guy, written a ton of books. But I love that concept because I think that so many of us, we may be in one aspect of our life like, oh yeah, divinity has me.
Right.
And then this other one, you're like, nope. This is my control, and totally. Like, I don't have any. Like you're driving down the road, and like you hit every red light, you're the victim, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if you're not the victim, the cop's pulling you over to give you a ticket for the red light.
Yeah. I am the victim of that at every red light. But if I went down Eagle Road one time and hit every green.
Oh wow!
I was like, praise God. Whereas like. It's such a quick flip that can happen, but that is true. I think from step 1 to 2 is easy.
Yeah.
Just get out of it. And it's hard to say just get out of it because I don't know every situation that's going on. But I would say people will often talk about like what's your 5-year goal? What's your 10-year goal?
Yeah.
Write it down and then backtrack for what needs to happen. Like I want a family and a house. Okay, well, write out some of the steps that has to happen. Well, I have to find a girlfriend. That's like step 1. Part of the family, like that's part of it. Find a girl, or like I want to get a house. Okay, find a job.
Yeah.
Well, and like you can always. I'm part of my lingo that I talk about a lot right now is like zooming in. So if I had considered actually starting my own podcast about like Bible topics, and it would be called Bedrock Theology, and it was just that like. You have to, and you can even pertain bedrock or zooming in to just life. Like you have to zoom in on everything. And so like, well, I want to have a family with 5 kids. Great. What do you need first? A wife. Step 1, right? Like, and then if you're like, well, no girls like me. Okay, we'll zoom in. What are you doing wrong? Well, I'm overweight. Okay, start running. Well, I don't have any shoes. Well, and like you can zoom in on every single thing to eventually it's like, I just got to do it. Like, I just had to do, like
I broke it down small enough. I zoomed in enough. I can actually take that one and move with it.
And that's where people get stuck in that circle that you were talking about earlier is that like, well, I want to have a wife and 5 kids. And then, a month goes by, a year goes by, and they're like, well, I don't have that. It's like, have you taken really any steps to kind of go towards that? But that 3-layer thing that you just mentioned is huge. I think that's fantastic. Step 1 to 2 is the easiest to get out of, though, for sure.
Yeah.
If you want to sit at the bottom one and everything, you're a victim to every single thing ever. It's just going to be a hard life. And what's hard, again, I didn't come from money.
Right.
I didn't come from anything.
Yeah.
And I don't have some sort of secret special talent. But what's hard is that there is, like, do you want to stay on the bottom? And if your answer is no, then there's something that you can kind of pick yourself up and go and do. And so, everybody has different situation, different scenario. Some are easier to get out of than others. So I can't just blanket statement like, oh, it's easy, because it's definitely not easy. But I guess the right mindset would make it easier than, so yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how do people get a hold of you? If they want to hire you, work with you, connect with you, find out more?
Yeah. So because I wear so many different hats, right? Like it kind of depends on what you need at this point. So the two that I'm focusing most on right now, so RestoClean, restoration company. We've been around in the Valley for 15 years. We're the largest privately owned restoration company.
Okay.
So we're not a franchise. People like that. Everybody that works at RestoClean, even the people that answer the phone, are in Idaho. So
gotcha.
people's money stay in Idaho.
Yeah.
We're not outsourcing to that's not how we roll. We do, and this list is extensive, but we do mold, water, fire, dead people, asbestos, lead paint, hazmat, hoarder cleanout, drug cleanup, almost every single dirty thing that you could possibly imagine. Wow. Except fentanyl. So one thing we won't touch, and I don't think any restoration companies in the entire Valley will actually touch it. But that's it's a gross one, but somebody's got to do it. And so Googling RestoClean in Nampa is our main office. We have a Boise office and a Cascade office as well. Those would be great ways to just reach out. We offer free inspections. They are $0. They don't cost you anything.
Gotcha.
Zero. And so really what it is we look at mold and other gross stuff all day long. And so if you think you have something, letting us come out and say, no, that's dirt. Just clean your house. Or hey, I can't believe you're still alive. Like this is a mess in here. And we'll come out and just tell you for free. And then we'll work with your insurance if you want us to go that route and everything else. And there are a lot of restoration companies in the Valley. There's some really good ones. I would say look at Google reviews. That's where we've kind of thrived as far as people really like us. And we're interacting with them kind of on the worst day of their life, right? Like my whole house is flooded. Yep. And so we do anything and everything we can to try and turn that around and make it as enjoyable as possible as far as like open communication, just the works. Like we jump through a lot of hoops to make sure that like we get you back to normal as fast as we can, right? And so that's for RestoClean. For the websites, I would say for anybody that wants to stay on the Wix platform, I love Wix, and I've been a Wix partner for a long time, and I have 45 or more websites through Wix for local companies that I've kind of interacted with. And so one of the things that I actually got plugged into this when COVID first hit. I had to figure out what I could do for my computer, like everybody, right? And everyone's stuck. You can't go outdoors anymore. And so I would call local companies and say, hey, can I fix your website? And I would get no. And that was it. And I was like, dang. And so what I started doing, which I think what sets me apart maybe a little bit more from other web design companies, is I'll actually build your site first. So I'll send you a questionnaire as a business owner. You'll answer all of them to the best of your ability. Right. And then I will build and design your site first and then say, here, do you like it? And if you're like, I love it, then you can buy it from me. If you're like, I don't like it, then I'm going to kind of keep it. Well, I'll try to make revisions to make you like it, but I'll keep it in my portfolio. And then if somebody else reaches out in that same industry, they're going to get that website. So like, if you're on the fence, if you don't know, like I've gotten pretty darn good at this web design thing. And like I said, you don't pay me, I'll make it first. And if you like me and if you like it, then you can pay for it. And if you're just like, you know what, I realize that I'm not this far in my company yet. We don't need a website quite yet. No worries at all. Yeah. I'll hang on to it for you. Or for somebody else.
Yeah. So how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, good question. So if people wanted to, I am on Facebook. Okay. So if they ever want to reach out, Taylor Foad, F-O-A-D, it's like road or toad, but with an F.
Got it.
It's not Foad. Your price just doubled if you call me Foad. I'm just kidding. It's and please don't call me Tyler. My name is Taylor with an A. And so Facebook's a great way to reach me. If you want to shoot me an email, taylorfoad@gmail.com. Pretty straightforward. What's nice about the last name Foad, nobody has it I'm the only Taylor Foad actually in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, Foad's like a really uncommon last name. And so nobody has it. I get all the usernames. I get all the emails. I get all the anything I want because Foad is such an odd one. And so it would have been a cool Italian last name because my family on my dad's side's Italian, but they adopted a Foad into the family and he ruined everything. I'm stuck with this. I'm not stuck with this dumb last name, but no, there's.
But at least you get all the right usernames.
Oh yeah, and email taylorfoad@gmail.com. Whereas if you're John Smith,
oh man, yeah,
you're out of luck.
You don't know how many fake Jason McKenzies there are out there.
Yeah, like look me up on LinkedIn. I'm the only one. That's it. There's no other one. You can't be like, well, is it this one or that one? Foad.
Yes, it is. It is.
It is
this one and that one.
Yeah, they're actually identical. And so LinkedIn's another way if you wanted to reach out to me and ask me questions. Again, I'm just a guy that's trying to make it. With my 2 girls and my 3 foster kids, anything that I can do to just try to bring in extra money to help keep my daughter in gymnastics and other kind of fun stuff like that, I'll try. And so websites as of right now for companies have been really great because I don't charge what humongous agencies charge. Like some companies out there are charging $4, $5, $6, $10, $15,000 for a 5-page website, 10-page website. I'm not even close to that because I'm not trying to make it rich. And I have this mentality to where if I make you a website and then you make $1 billion bucks, you'll remember me. And then you'll pay me when you make your money. So yeah, that's kind of my approach to it.
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you guys thank you for having me. I hope anybody watching this gets any sort of advice, any good advice out of this. If you ever want to reach out to me on social media, and pick my brain, I'm an open book. Reach out and ask me questions. I'd love to help.
Perfect. Thanks, man.